Nigeria's inflation rate hits 34.60%. Okuama, treasurer, died after family paid the military 140,000 naira for transport. Supreme Court imposes 5 million naira on ex-presidential candidate for harassing. Nigeria to reopen embassy in North Korea. Tide, Enugu residents decry rising cost of drinking water. Christmas decoration, Enugu metropolis wears new look. Yahaya Bello to sue media over alleged comment against Tinubu. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project sues Tinubu over failure to prove missing 57 billion naira in the ministry. Supreme Court rules on fresh suit seeking Tinubu's disqualification. And I have many plots of land we bought where we live, Yoruba houses in Southeast. This and more will be the cause of our discussion on this particular edition of Political Views on the 103.5FM. Before we venture into the details, remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08065796599. Or you send SMS to 08138397740 or 08139256742. Now, the first story we have for you on this particular edition of Political Views is Nigeria's inflation rate hits 34.60%. Nigeria's annual inflation rate rose to 34.60% in November from 33.88% in October, the National Bureau of Statistics said on Monday. This continues the upward trend from the month of September when the nation recorded a reversal of a 2-month decline. MBS said the November 2024 headline inflation rate showed an increase of 0.72 percentage points compared to October 2024 headline inflation rate. According to their report, the food inflation rate in November 2024 was 39.93% on a year-on-year basis, 7.08 percentage points higher than the rate recorded in November 2023, 32.84%, it says. Well, still on the happenings on our political space this afternoon, Okuama, treasurer, died after family paid the military 140,000 naira for transport. The family of the 81-year-old Pa Dennis Okubaye, the treasurer of the Okuama community in the Uheri South local government area of Delta State, who died in the military detention on December 10, 2024, have explained the circumstances surrounding his death. The revelation came as the Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborowori and the military authorities have yet to make a statement 6 days after Pa Okubaye died. Family sources who did not want their names mentioned for security reasons told news correspondents that they paid 140,000 naira for fuel to the military to carry their sick father from Port Harcourt to Asaba. Newsmen gathered that Pa Okubaya was being transported from Port Harcourt, River State, by the military officers to 63 Brigade, Asaba Delta State, when he allegedly died. we were told that our father is very sick and we should send 140,000 naira to buy fuel to transport him to Asaba so that we, the family, can take him to hospital. We send the money and we are told to come to 63 Brigade Asaba to retrieve our father on Monday, December 9th. They warned us that only his daughter would receive him. On Monday morning, we came to Asaba. Then our sister moved to the military barracks, 63 Brigade Asaba, to receive him. But she was there till around 5 p.m. No signal. We informed some of our leaders, including Governor Sheriff Oborowori of the development. We went back home. It was on Tuesday when we were calling to know the next step that we were told that our father died on the road when they were about to come, the sources said. They added that to date, the military authority or the governor had not called them over the development. Pa Okuboye's death came barely a week after the death of the community president general Pa James Ohokoro in a military detention. The community leaders Pa Ogokoro, now deceased, Pa Okubaya, now deceased, Professor Otto Ekpepu, Chief Belvis Adobo, Mrs. Mabel Owemu, and Mr. Dennis Malaka were between August 18th and 20th, 2024 arrested by the army and had been kept incommunicado in detention without trial. Their arrest followed the killing of 17 soldiers on a peace mission to resolve the tussle between Okuama and Okoloba communities on March 14, 2024. Efforts to reach the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Ifani Uzuoza, and the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Festus Ahon, failed as calls and messages sent to them were not responded to at the time of filing this report. And the next story we have for you this afternoon is Supreme Court finds ex-presidential candidate 5 million naira for frivolous suit against Tinubu. The Supreme Court on Monday in Abuja fined Ambrose Albert Owuru, a former presidential candidate, 5 million naira for harassing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with a frivolous, vexatious suit. Owuru, who contested the 2019 presidential election against former President Muhammadu Buhari on the platform of the Hope Democratic Party, was ordered to pay 5 million naira to Tinubu. Justice Uwani Musa Abba Aji issued the order against the former presidential candidate while dismissing his fresh suit praying for the removal of Tinubu as Nigeria's president. Apart from the 5 million naira fine, and the Apex Court ordered his registry not to accept any frivolous originating summons from Uhuru again. At Monday's proceedings, Uhuru, who claimed to be a lawyer called to the Nigerian bar in 1984, sought to argue his case wearing his wig and gown. He was ordered out of the bar and directed to remove his wig and gown before he could argue his case. Upon complying with the orders, Owudu was asked why he came before the court again, having had his suits dismissed 3 times. Although he tried unsuccessfully to convince the Apex Court to grant him adequate audience, his explanations were rejected as unconvincing. Following his recalcitrant, the court threatened to refer him to the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee (LPDC). Justice Abba Aji ruled that Owuru's conduct was unbecoming of a lawyer over 40 years, as he claimed to be. Ultimately, the court dismissed his suit and ordered him to pay Tinubu 5 million naira. The court lambasted him for taking the Supreme Court for a ride, wasting his precious time with business suits and gross abusing court processes. Before the suit was thrown out, Bode Olanikbekun's son, who appeared for President Tinubu, had drawn the attention of the court to several cases of Owuru that were dismissed on account of frivolity. He added that the direction of the fresh suit could not be understood because of the poor ways and manners it was coached by the applicant. Still on the happenings on our political space this afternoon, Nigeria to reopen embassy in North Korea. The interim commissioner for affairs charged the affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in North Korea, Patrick Imologem, has announced the country's plan to reopen its embassy in North Korea. Imologem announced this while paying a protocol visit to the ambassador of Russia in Pyongyang, the North Korean capital. The Russian embassy in North Korea shared the details of the meeting with Imoroben in a Facebook post. Nigeria's diplomatic relations were stalled in 2021 after following the United Nations ban on the hiring of expatriates and professionals from North Korea, an Asia country notorious for the development of nuclear weapons and missiles in other countries. The United Nations implemented the ban as a sanction in response to the country's nuclear weapon and missile activities. Nigeria maintained a cordial relationship with the country and sought the country's help in combating the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Medical professionals were flown into the country from North Korea. In 2021, however, a health professional drew the United Nations' attention to Nigeria's disregard for the United Nations ban on North Korean level. With the plan to reopen the Nigerian embassy in North Korea, Nigeria will become the second African country after Egypt to maintain a diplomatic presence in North Korea. The next story we have for you this afternoon, your tide, Enugu residents decry rising cost of drinking water, will be the next for discussion right after this break on Ebona, the 103.5 FM, where you are listening to Political Views with me, Martin Ifeanyi Shuku, AKZ. So stick around after this break and we will be right back.
Of documenting memories in the 21st century is gone. When you have everyone at the 103.5 FM here, what are you celebrating today? Birthdays, wedding anniversary, traditional wedding, chieftaincy conferment, or fala, etc. Approach everyone at the 103.5 FM Ogidi today to document your event. Everyone at the 103.5 FM offers you live coverage of your events on radio and social media, video and photo coverages feature on magazines, photo books and others, news coverage of political and other events. Take this offer and receive a complete coverage. For more information, call or WhatsApp 08065796599 or you visit Ebon at the 103.5 FM Ogidi opposite Ogunike Boys inside the European Residency Hotel Ogidi. Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at Ebonade 103.5 FM with Martin Ifeanyi Chukwu is every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian views of labor leaders and most importantly, your views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to Ebonade 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date. F1 the 103.5 FM. Napapoa production. My business. When I will tell you APJ radio drama, Erico. drama Ewiku Ghana Dialogue every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Saturday, 3 o'clock p.m. Now, F1 103.5 FM. Yeah, also, if you remove my finish your business, yeah.
Amara mi rewa di amo. So na ka do na ko na ni ko na. Nke ka ku ja bona na ma ko na ya mo le si.
Ekokwana ka kọm dị nka kọrọ.
You're welcome back to Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. I remain Martin Ifan Shuku Ekezie. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08065796599. You can as well send SMS on 08138397740 or 08139256742. And the next story we have for you on this particular edition of Political Views on Ebona, the 103.5 FM is Yuletide. Enugu residents decry rising cost of drinking water. Residents of Enugu metropolis have decried the high cost of drinking water in parts of the city just as Christmas festivities are approaching. Investigation by newsmen on Monday showed that efforts are being made by the state government to provide potable drinking water are yet to yield the desired results. Newsmen further reports that many of the water galleries built in parts of the city by the government have remained dry. Reports have it that a truck with a 500-gallon tank of water that used to sell for between 10,000 naira and 12,000 naira now goes for between 13,000 naira and 15,000 naira depending on the area. Investigation also revealed that a water of 750-gallon tank of water sells for between 16,000 naira and 18,000 naira. Also, in some parts of the city, a 25-liter gallon of water, drinking water, sells for 300 naira, while well water used for cooking is sold for between 50 naira and 70 naira. Newsmen also reported a water tanker driver, Mr. Eugene Wangene, attributed the development to a combination of factors, including the high cost of transport and increased revenues. A resident of Abapanike, by Mr. Steve Osuji, said he was surprised that water scarcity still persisted in Enugu City. The government has promised to provide water to Enugu residents within 180 days of the commencement of its administration, yet we are faced with scarcity, he said. A resident of the Akukwe area of Okunano, Mrs. Mercy Okeke, said that the water situation in the area was the same as it had always been. We buy water as usual. For example, a 25-liter of drinking water is 300 naira, while well water is either 50 naira or 60 naira, while some sell 70 naira, she stated. Still on our political space, Yahaya Bello to sue media over alleged comments against Tinubu. Former Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi has threatened to sue persons behind an online media outlet, Daily Excessive, over an alleged fake report targeted at causing a strained relationship between him and the President Bola Tinubu. The decision to sue the purveyors of the news was made known in a statement signed by the Michael Ohiare, the director, Yahaya Bello Media Office, and a copy made available to newsmen in Abuja on Sunday evening. The online platform was alleged to have published a report putting the former governor to have said, while in court, that he will reveal to the world how President Tinubu became Nigerian president. Ohiara said the report was not only misleading but a confirmation of how unintelligent some unrelenting detractors of the former governor are. He said, our attention has been drawn to a not only mischievous but absolutely senseless report published by a mushroom blog called Daily Excessive, which attributed fake quotes against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to our principal, the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Yahaya Bello. Ordinarily, we would not have been bothered to give this any attention, considering the fact that no informed Nigerian would take such a ridiculous story seriously, especially since court records a public document. This clarification is, however, necessary for the record and for the benefits of social media users who circulate fake news without fact-checking the details. The report, which is part of the desperate plot by irresponsible politicians to strain the relationship between our president and former governor Yahaya Bello, is the most laughable twist in their failed bid to execute their bring him down at all costs mirage. Every Nigerian who has been following court proceedings since the former governor submitted himself to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission knows the trial has not commenced in any of the cases. Former Governor Bello has only taken his plea at both courts. The court is an open place where proceedings are monitored by journalists and other stakeholders. This is the reason no informed Nigerian would even consider opening this report by an excessive fake news purveyor called Daily Excessive. He described the persons behind the news as mischief makers. We, however, wish to stress that even those that the hatchet job executors are trying to confuse know that His Excellency Alhaji Yahaya Bello has great respect for the person and office of Mr. President and will never make such ridiculous remarks attributed to him against the president. The next story we have for you this afternoon is Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project sues Tinubu over failure to probe missing 57 billion naira in ministries orders. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has sued President Bola Tinubu at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos over failure to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi San, to work with appropriate anti-corruption agencies to probe allegations that over 57 billion naira of public funds are missing, diverted, or stolen from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in 2021 alone. Joined in the suit as a respondent is Fagbemi. The damning allegations are documented in the 2021 audited report released last month by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation in the suit number FHCL MISC 876/2024, filed at the weekend. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project is asking the court to compel Tinubu to direct the Fagbemi to work with appropriate anti-corruption agencies to promptly probe the allegation. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project is also asking the court to compel Tinubu to direct Fagbemi to work with appropriate anti-corruption agencies to prosecute anyone suspected to be responsible for the missing 57 billion naira if there is sufficient admissible evidence, and not to recover any missing and to recover any missing public fund. From the top, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project is also seeking the court to compel Tinubu to direct Fagbemi to work with appropriate anti-corruption agencies to prosecute anyone suspected to be responsible for the missing 57 billion naira if there is sufficient admissible evidence, and to recover any missing public fund. In the suit filed on behalf of Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project by its lawyers, Kolawale Oluwadare and Ms. Oluwakemi Agumbiade, The organization argued that investigating the allegation and prosecuting those suspected to be responsible for the missing 57 billion naira and recovering the missing funds would end the impunity of perpetrators. It also argued that the allegations amount to stealing from the poor, noting a legitimate public interest in ensuring justice and accountability for the allegation. Now, according to the body, poor Nigerians have continued to pay the price for the widespread and grand corruption in the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation and other ministries, departments, and agencies. Socioeconomic rights and accountability stated the damning revelations are documented in the 2021 audited report released recently by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. Hundreds of billions of naira are also reportedly missing in other ministries, departments, agencies. And the next story we have for you this afternoon is Nigeria on fiscal edge piles up 4 trillion naira unfunded deficit in 12 months. Nigeria's over reliance on debt funding may have hit the brink, requiring a more creative financing model, with the federal government's unfunded deficit rising to as much as 3.95 trillion naira last year. The amount, which is 16.5% of the entire 2023 budget, may be much higher when the report is updated, considering the capital expenditures full implementation, which is extended to December 31st. The implementation of the capital component had been extended 3 times, raising some questions following its poor performance at the close of the original budget cycle. Despite the multiple extensions, the important capital vote underperformed non-debt and debt recurrent components with large margins, and its estimate by 55% of the 6.58 trillion naira voted for ministries, departments, and agencies. According to data gleaned from the budget implementation report, 3.65 trillion naira or 55.5% was released. Still, only 2.96 trillion naira or 81% was utilized. That puts the utilization ratio at 45%, but the real value could be much smaller, as the analysis does not account for budget padding, inflated value, and other corrupt practices the country's public finance is known for. The unrealized capital vote, estimated at 2.93 trillion naira, account for 74% of the unfunded deficit, coming from the government's inability to leverage the international debt market throughout the budget cycle plan, plus those executed by government-owned enterprises under bilateral, multilateral tied project loans and with donor funds. The federal government spent a total of 6.37 trillion naira as capital expenditure in the year under review. In nominal terms, the amount is over 180% larger than 2.2 trillion naira spent in 2022. The country only ended the Eurobond break in November, where it raised $2.2 billion from a landmark auction to make a return to the funding window. The 2023 budget was executed at a time when global restrictive monetary policy peaked, piling funding pressure on emerging countries, including Nigeria. This may be pulling the country deeper into a funding drought and forcing the government to trigger an aggressive internal revenue mobilization. It was the first time an unfunded deficit, the margin of total fiscal deficit the government is unable to finance, would hit or support 1 trillion naira in close to a decade and a half since the government adopted an aggressive deficit budget. The government has been able to scout funds from both domestic and international markets to plug the hole. And the next story we have for you this afternoon, Christmas decorations. Enugu Metropolis wears new look. Enugu Metropolis is currently wearing a new look with beautiful and colorful Christmas decorations displayed at the various locations, premises of corporate organizations, schools, shopping malls, among others. Newsmen, correspondents who went around the metropolis on Monday observed that Enugu has been lit up with various decorations, flowers, and Santa Claus effigies at some various roundabouts and other places. The state government, through the Office of the Ministry of Tourism, has also beautified some major streets and roundabouts, including Independence Avenue, Chime Avenue, which have the Ijele masquerade. The ministry also decorated the Unity Park with different Christmas trees and other decorations, as well as the Naira Triangle on the Enugu Abakaliki Expressway. Some residents who spoke with newsmen about their impression said the new look is a reflection of the season when no one will want to be left out. A resident, Mr. Ifa Inweke, expressed satisfaction with the decoration, saying that it changed the gloomy mood caused by the hardship faced by the people. Enugu is looking clean and beautiful this festive period, especially at night, and everywhere is well illuminated to celebrate the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ. I will bring my family to the Unity Park that has a lot of interesting things for both children and adults, he said. Mrs. Jacinta Nweke, a hairstylist at Abani Road, Enugu, said that she decorated her shop to remind her customers of the Christmas festivity. A civil servant, Mr. Okwi Njoko, said that the Christmas season usually changes people's mood as many tend to be happy, thereby affording them the opportunity to decorate their offices, houses, and shops. And the next story we have for you this afternoon is I have many plots of land we bought where we live. Yoruba, Hausa in Igbo land. The Hausa and Yoruba communities in the southeast region. While we await network on that particular story, let me now take you on. PDP should be held accountable for Nigeria's slide into one-party state. Okay, Chuku. An SY Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Von Osita Okechukwu, says the People's Democratic Party should be held responsible for Nigeria's slide towards becoming one-party state, not the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). Okechukwu made this statement on Sunday in Enugu while reacting to insinuations that APC and by extension President Bola Tinubu were responsible for the weak opposition in the country. The former Von boss described the insinuations that the ruling APC was the architect of the emerging one-party state are misplaced. According to him, PDP members had been inflicted by the same humongous culture of impunity it planted in the country's political culture in their 16 years of being in power. Okechukwu, a founding member of the APC, said Nigeria will naturally slide into one-party state as PDP, the country's major opposition party with more than 10 governors, has been afflicted by the stomach infrastructure syndrome. One, without being immodest, can recall how Alhaji Buba Galadima, the then National Secretary of CPC, was arrested and hounded on eve of the 2007 general elections and offered all manners of carrots to abandon CPC and by extension, former President Muhammadu Buhari, he said. He reminisced that since the APC merger in 2013, PDP members had converted APC to a rehabilitation center instead of adopting the prerequisite ingredients of opposition, resilience, grit, and patience. He stated that it was the culture of impunity that made PDP to handily jettison the rotation convention of president from the north to the south and even Section 7 of its constitution, which made rotation mandatory. Imagine the breach of rotation convention by the PDP leadership not minding the unintended consequences with the erroneous thought that His Excellency Atiku Abubakar will unlock the northern electorate from their dormitory to vote PDP in the 2023 presidential election. This is a misjudgment, pure and simple, with its collateral damage, one of which is one-party state. They, PDP, are at it again with a fake arithmetic of the South 17 years and not 11 years rule since 1999, as if Nigeria got independence in 1999, Okechukwu said. And the last story we have for you this afternoon before you can call in and tell us what to think of all of this is I have many plots of land we bought where we live, Yoruba, Hausa in Igbo land. Igbo elders and traditional rulers, as well as other stakeholders, have dismissed as baseless the claim that that the Igbo people in southeastern part of the country do not sell land in their region to people of other tribes. The Hausa and Yoruba communities in the southeast region have also risen in defense of their host, saying it was a false claim. Their reactions followed a narrative which trended recently that the Igbo people do not sell land to non-Igbo, which generated a lot of interest among Igbo and non-Igbo in the country. In his reaction, the paramount ruler of Abreba, ancient kingdom, Eze Kalo Kalo Obu, said, strangers who are interested and willing to buy land and develop for useful purposes are always given the opportunity to do so. According to the royal father, if anyone wants to invest, there is land everywhere for any interested investor to genuinely acquire. Nobody will stop such a person from buying land in any part of Igbo land. They are just twisting the facts to blackmail the Igbo. They don't want to invest in Igbo land. They just want to give Igbo a bad name. Those of them who are in Igbo land would just rent one room and cluster their irrespective of the amount of money they have. They won't go to buy a piece of land. If they are interested in buying land, they can get as much as they want. Also speaking on the issue, the traditional ruler of Nkalike Eshara, Unuhu, Autonomous Community, Ebonyi State, Ezogu, Sunday, Oketa, said that he personally supervised a survey of land sold to the chairman of the Cattle Sellers Association in Abakaliki, Alhaji Salusi. Oketa also stated that Yoruba quarters where the Yoruba people live in Ebonyi, his own village, is owned by the Yorubas. It is very wrong impression to say that we don't sell land to visitors from other tribes. It was not true because we are magnanimous enough and have sold lands to the Hausas, Yorubas, Idomas, Edos, Igala, Epics, etc. We don't discriminate in the sale of land as long as you have the interest to buy. I have sold many plots of land to outside in my community. I have also supervised surveys of plots of land sold to Alhaji Salusi in my area. The Yorubas have their quarters in my village and the place is owned by them and they are still living there. You can go there to verify. In the heart of Abakaliki, we have Hausa quarters where they live and do their business. A vast land is being occupied by Hausas. The land was bought by their fathers years ago. They sell cows on their own. The truth is that we have been living with the Hausas and others peacefully, and we cannot afford to deny them anything, including the sale of land. They marry our women and we also marry their women. So we bond with them. We don't fight or quarrel unnecessarily and we share things. I urge politicians to desist from creating division among ethnic groups. Ezog Oketa cautioned. Meanwhile, in the same vein, a Yoruba leader in Abakaliki, Chief Adedeji Olatosi, described those who made such allegations against Igbo as the enemies of Ndibo, who envy their progressive nature and those who don't have money to buy land. According to him, who said Igbo people don't sell their land to other tribes. It is the same people who have been fanning the embers of discord in this country that made such statements. I have lived in Ebonyi State for 50 years. I was born and brought up in our people. From where I came to Abakaliki to do my business, Igbo people are eager. He continued and said, as far as Abakaliki is concerned, if I want to buy land in a government quarter, I can buy it if I can afford the money. I have many plots of land in Afibo and Ohuku. I have a bungalow where I live, where I am living with my family in Abakaliki. Likewise, other Yoruba people, I even resold 2 plots I bought 20 years ago to Igbo people. Our politicians should stop causing unnecessary tension and division among ethnic groups in this country, he warned. Also, a leader of Hausa community in Abakaliki, Alhaji Danladi Umar, said in Ebonyi State, land is given free and also sold in most places. He noted that Igbo are very hospitable and accommodating people. In Abakaliki, we have areas owned by our people. We also have our supporters which our people own as their property. We are living in harmony with the Igbo people here. We do business together. We intermarry. They give us land free. We also buy land if we want. We own this place where we live. We also own the place where we sell cattle. Some houses have filling stations in Ebonyi State like Shafa, Sani, etc. The land was sold to them by our host community and nobody heard about it. We are living peacefully here. Some of us have lived in Ebonyi for 70 years. Some were born and brought up here. Some of us speak local dialects like Izi, Iza, Afibo, etc. Not only the Central Igbo language, we have become part and parcel of this place. I want to appeal to Igbo to disregard the enemies who want to cause crisis through their utterances. Well, there you have it. One of the syndromes of Igbophobia, that is the fear of the Igbo person, is some people who find the embers of discord in Nigeria. A lot is happening on in our political space this afternoon, and we must talk about it because in one way or the other, the happenings in the corridors of power affects you and me in one way or the other. I want you to remember that we talked about, Okuama treasurer who died after family paid the military 140,000 naira for transport. And at a time, when he was, they said, on their way to bring him to a particular location, that he lost his life. A lot is happening, and I need to know your thoughts on all of this. So keep these calls coming. Call us now to become part of the conversation. You can call us on 081 38 39 7740 or 081 39 25 6742. You can equally call us on 08065796599. Send SMS or WhatsApp message on the same number. Yes, why a lot of people are attesting to the fact that Igbo people always sell land. All of these things started from when Dr. Abati made a statement about the Igbo people not selling land to other tribes in Nigeria, and it became a topic on social media. A lot of people started talking about it, and that's why a lot of people have also come out to dismiss that thought, most especially other tribes or like Hausa, Yoruba people who reside in Igbo land, who have their own parcels of land in Igbo land. Let's hear from you. What do you have to say about the happenings on our political space this evening? Let's hear from you now. Hello. Yes, good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening, my brother. Oh, good much job on the
Gabaniru Satila Ononoku.
it came up and they all knew about that.
Yes, Abati, then.
Nah, but I when we not stop. Ever I thought I had already amazing.
Okay.
I was mountain of fire. Ever I thought I had granado.
Okay.
I was different life. Ever I thought I had granado. The wickedness of people in the life of the individual will consume them when the time comes. Yoruba was never going to Igbo. And are all of their enterprise, mostly toxic. And I have to go. If I can make a thing on a week of all Yoruba, and I have to try my Bible. So we need to work. How was that the entry? How will they be working? But that entry will come back and consume them.
No, not pull all of them still because Nakita and when they push the
I'll put all of them and the quarter of someone is well. If we have somebody else to tell you about nation as a whole, simple. Then Okuama experience and the army and the secretary will go. And when you have the letter, I'm going to get a state to go to last to people. And then I want to bring a particular one. What do you do for my economy?
You don't have to make such a comment. He will see investigate the situation of man.
Okay, there is an